Want depression? You don't even have to ask. Need depression? All you gotta do is play 15 minutes of this bullshit. Welcome to Sakupen Circle's Hitler's Reign. You don't ask for this. Nobody asked for this. But we got it anyway because you can always count on new entries of the demon list to give this dumb little community a stiffy. And similar to previous wet farts that have crawled their way up the list, this one is most comparable in anatomy to a pile of used tissues. Also a shared trait with the aforementioned wet farts is the fact that nobody actually gives enough of a shit about the level to even bother to play the bloody thing. I barely had enough patience with Sakupen Circles to play it for this review. Let's be honest here, this level could have been filled with nothing but ants and you still wouldn't care. And if you did care enough about this level to beat it, then it's probably for the best you get some bitches before your dick dries up from lack of moisture. The only real purpose this thing serves is to generate YouTube views from a bunch of underweight 17-year-olds with carpal tunnel. What's interesting about this level is not the thing itself, no. It's that if you go to any old shitty gameplay channel's replay of it and scroll down a couple centimeters to the comments, you'll find a bunch of parrots echoing the word legend until it no longer has any meaning. The legend apparently not being the level itself, but instead a player going by the alias of Diamond. The sweaty nerd who verified the thing along with an overdramatic reaction that makes my ears ring.
I verified Sakupen Circles! What?
Ouch, that hurts. I would ask why this is the case, but anyone who's actually played this level would know that the answer is really obvious. Sakupen Circles is one of the most boring levels to ever exist. Even as a 5,000 hour Vietnam War veteran who plays shitty levels all day, I could not be fucked to sit in my disheveled warehouse chair and give it a crack for the time it takes to heat up a cup of 2-minute noodles. This level is the closest something has come to really feeling like smashing your head in a concrete wall over and over and over. And it seems like the year 7s to make up this game's casual player base have caught on to this too. Watch this. I have now scrolled down to 1,000 comments. Want to see a magic trick? Brutal. I wish I could relate to getting this excited for a level I'm never gonna play. Maybe for them this is the next moon landing. The legend passed down generations about the monumental moment in history when one Geometry Dash level was temporarily 5% harder than the other one. For the monumental time period of 69 days. Nice record there guys, you held it for around 37 seconds. Maybe if you spent more than 5 fucking minutes on it, it would've lasted till dinner time. Well, at least you can sleep easy knowing that you successfully fooled everyone into forgetting that this is a stupid 51-second Geometry Dash level and not an ancient historical artifact. Let's be honest. This level being treated as a cornerstone of human achievement is nothing short of laughable. Not only because the level sucks, but because it's not even a step up at all. It's only adjacent to the step that's already been made by someone else. Although, gotta be honest, the level being dog shit didn't really help. None of these people realize that they all look dumb, attributing legend status to a glorified flash grenade. Although if anyone would put these two things on the same level, it would probably be people that sit down and watch 4K videos of a game that maxes out in 1080p. Actually, I've got an idea for a truly legendary moment. It's the story of the mighty Zeus himself gathering every single doofus in this comment section and throwing each and every last one of them into a volcano, resulting in instant death. Let's ignore all those distractions for now, looking at the level on its own. What's so special about it? The answer is, well, basically nothing. It's just a shitty hell-themed 9 circles level from the Bronze Age spiffied up by a bunch of glow nerds. It would be redundant to say Sakupen Circles is nothing new. While doing nothing new is fine, it's probably not illegal. But what should be is a level that has nothing new but also has no personality. I roam the 7 seas day and night looking for anything interesting about this boring ass level, only to immediately reach a dead end, realizing that it's just your everyday extreme demon sewage and nothing more. Since its release to exploration and popularity, I have not seen a single person come to its defense. This is one of the few levels where everyone unanimously agrees, yep, this thing sucks. Even RobTop, he didn't even feature the damn thing, he only gave it a star rating, which basically means it's about as good as bugging your pants, just shut up. And for those of you who don't get how insane that truly is, here's a friendly reminder for you. Geometry Dash has one of the most tribalistic player bases to ever exist. We'll start pointless arguments about literally fucking anything, and even with this level being plastered across every corner of the community, I have not personally witnessed evidence that praise for this level exists. Needless to say that the official garbage collection Discord accepts this level with open arms. Consensus like this is incredibly rare, but in this case, it makes a lot of sense. I can't think of any reason why Sakupen Circles will be appearing in any best lists. It probably won't even appear in any worse lists either due to the level being so bloody forgettable. It's like the Philippines. The only question I could really focus on is, and how the hell do we even get here in the first place? How out of all things was Sakupen Circles the one to end up with a big budget remake? What about this possibly stood out to a team of seasoned veterans to be a sign of an exceptional work of art that required eternal preservation? Considering that took at least 9 guys to even make this thing, you would think that with their combined brainpower, they would eventually realize that they were remaking a crusty online circus level by a guy who was too lazy to even make an account and get the hell out before they waste their time. My confusion about this level's existence is furthered even more since there's like 9 million other 1.9 levels that could have been pulled out from behind the piss drawer that would have made for a way better remake than Sakupen Circles could possibly ever be. Blue Marine's been sitting there patiently for 7 years now, and so has Cosmic Dreamer. Considering that you're all highly skilled Go nerds, I would have handed you my house to remake whatever this shit is. You had millions of levels to pick and you chose this. Congratulations, you played yourself. If you really want to know what went wrong with this level, it's these jokers who chose to remake a level that looks like it was made out of bin bags. Ignoring that looking at this level for longer than 10 seconds is like getting your eyes shot by 1,000 tiny laser beams, as someone who has actually gotten more than 7% into this level, I reckon that I speak for all of us when I say we should just get this shit off screen, because this is what you're really playing. What you're playing is some of the most formulaic impossible 9 circles garbage the world has ever seen. Even when I heard that this level got balanced, I almost couldn't believe it, because this is the least fun I've had playing any level since the Ice Age. No matter how little they try, this level will never be balanced correctly, since no matter how much you slightly shuffle spikes around, this will always be much harder than this. As much as I appreciate all the hard work that went into triple coating this thing in ice cream sprinkles, this level got me to shut the game off in a record time. Sakupen Circles did not once get me playing it for longer than 15 minutes at a time, and this is coming from the guy who plays Sweet Dude levels for fun. This gameplay is so goddamn ass that only 4 guys can even be bothered to beat it within the 5 months it's been out. Nobody likes this level, and the people that say they do are either lying or aliens. But I know what you may be thinking. If this level really is so painfully and obviously terrible without the gift of hindsight to such an overwhelming majority of George Ash's 7-year-old single-cell mainstream player base, then how the fuck did this kamikaze mission even manage to reach the phase of pre-construction? What is the inexplicable reason that an entire dedicated creating team with combined decades of experience chose this arthritic nightmare over any other level in the game's never-ending 80 million level archive? What kind of divine miracle possibly caused this level to debut to monstrous success? This time around, let's finally cut through all of the bullshit. Why does this level exist? Really? To its very core, this rendition of Sakupen Circles is a cynical product. Ever since the original was released back in 8 BC, it got suddenly plucked out of nowhere to become easily milked ad revenue for this decade several times because red shapes look good in thumbnails. For this exact purpose, Sakupen Circles was put completely arbitrarily on Tosh Deluxe's production line of replay videos showcasing poorly made impossible levels with anorexic wave tunnels. This business practice inadvertently makes Sakupen Circles both relatively popular and extremely recognizable. Later on, it got its last half snipped off and turned into a wave challenge called SC66P by some weeb, which is about as good as it sounds. How this turned into this, I'm not sure, but just like the original level, this here poorly constructed wave challenge also became a big deal to a bunch of sweaty teenagers. By this point, Sakupen Circles is doubly popular and exactly the type of level these guys would want to remake. But the issue is, the only way to make this shithole of a remake idea work is a Christchurch level overhaul of the entire project, which they sort of tried. But they didn't try anywhere near hard enough to make it worth playing. Any creator who has opened the editor more than around -6 times would notice that this level is completely fucked and only balanced when using a broken pair of scales. Even Nick24, the original creator, said that this bottom heavy balancing is fully intentional. Why someone would intentionally choose to make a level this way is a fact that the world may never know, but I can guarantee that this level had no intentions of going triple gangbusters like how things ended up. But to these cheeky fuckers, that's exactly what they wished for, and they managed to get there successfully by jingling their newly inherited set of Toyota Corolla car keys at the unbelievably enormous amount of tiny little squishy babies who still deeply care about the hastily cobbled together shitty impossible levels during the spring of 2021. And boy do they jingle those keys well. And I do have to admit, those are some pretty cool colors. You've got your classics such as piss yellow, poo brown, and piss red. It is true that decoration is the best aspect of the level, but calling it Sakupen Second's saving grace would be a big fat lie, because the level's all-time low balancing doesn't just stop at the crappy gameplay. The decoration of Sakupen Sakupen circles are so goddamn glow heavy that it looks like it was made out of hydrogen stolen directly from the sun. Not to mention that all these pro creators suddenly forgot how to make a background, as well as 3/4 of all visible light. Who knows, maybe they left all the other colors behind the shed, along with 85% of their brain cells. Even though that these creators sure are talented at knowing where the glow section is, there's just one teensy issue I see with this decoration. It's that this level makes it very obvious that these cunts think we're all born yesterday. Take this from someone who's been in the business for years. Outside of a technical display, this isn't exactly impressive decoration by any means. It's an entirely false front erected by those who know their field. Know their field well enough to know their audience. Know their audience who are composed of those who won't even question what they're looking at if they see enough pretty lights. Know that all they have to do to leave the audience stunned is to take a basic structure and cake it with glow until it's impossible to even tell what the shape of the object is. Know that not a single person watching has the patience to let go of their half-eaten fish fingers for 5 fucking seconds and show them some respect by looking deeper at their work. Know that an exceptional effort will be rendered completely pointless to those who can't tell the difference between a transcendent masterpiece and sedulous. In the twisted normie world of extreme demons, painfully average is painfully successful. Knowing all this, I am just as frustrated as understanding of why this list of multifaceted talents were completely sandpapered down any personality and creativity about themselves, leaving nothing but a homogeneous mush of plain shit. Why the hell wouldn't they? They don't have a reason not to. Their parts are only 6 seconds long and they get 10,000 times less credit for it than the pacey teenager who beat the fucking thing while making whale sounds! This level could have easily been completed by just one guy, but since nobody wants to be the loser who has to work on a bad level for 2 months, this already tiny level was made even smaller by dividing it up into a mega collab that doesn't even need to be one, with each part roughly taking 6 seconds each. This level is so bloody fractured that every 2 seconds the level completely changes, with the only thing uniting each one being the color red and seemingly being allergic to making backgrounds. If I was conscripted to work on this level, I'd probably do the exact same. If I were one of these poor guys, my thought process would probably be, I ain't giving you my best work. Oh yeah, all you ungrateful dickheads can go fuck yourselves. Here's me leftovers. Might as well. It's not exactly going to lead to impending doom anytime soon. After all, nobody's going to see this. This level only completely and totally dwarfs anything else I'll ever fucking make and will go on to be the most attention I'll ever receive. Forever. From now until the end of fucking time! And even if I thought this level looked cock-bendingly gorgeous, I'd still under no circumstances endorse it, because unfortunately for these guys, no amount of hue shifting can save an experience like the bullshit your eyes are currently attempting to bear. If you've ever looked at any completion of this level that isn't just a lazy bot someone threw together in 3 minutes, you may have noticed that almost every single one of them used the basic ass looking low detail mode version of it because it's fucking blinding! A good decoration job is made a waste if it gives you cataracts when you try to endure it for more than 10 uninterrupted seconds. Hazard a gazer, there's overly bright light shining directly into our eyeballs. Thanks for the vision damage, smarty pants. Because of you cunts, none of us can find our way to the toilet anymore, because all you once put way too many lights in a geometry dash level. You fucking maniacs. You've given pure garbage and covered up with a year 6 school disco. Hope you're proud of yourselves, I guess. And not even the fun type of garbage where you can point fingers and laugh at a group of morons and their incompetence, but instead the sad type of garbage where you look at with a vacant frown as you launch it into a medium-sized bin from across the solar system. This level is a despicable nightmare that is only unraveled to visibility through time. 5 months ago, my apathy towards this nuclear waste was so high that it wasn't even on my complaint jar at all. But after further investigation, the amount of glaring issues with Sakupen syphilis is so high that I can no longer tolerate the poison that we've all been forced to swallow. After all the airtime taken up by the overexposure of this shithole, it's finally made me give up. I can no longer tolerate the constant bullshit from all you dropkick dickheads and your active pollution on my eyeballs, as well as your never-ending pointless argument wars about what abysmal soulless extreme demon is harder than the other. So the question, which is harder, Sakupen circles or slaughterhouse? There's only one truly definitive conclusion. And to all you out there loudly wailing for an answer, you better listen in closely because you're gonna fucking hear it. My answer to you is that you should shut the fuck up and go sit your dumbass in the stupid chair. What you're doing is contributing to the further extreme worsening of one of the very worst parts in this community that's turning us all into a bunch of glue-eating cavemen that do nothing all day but sit around and shit their pants over interchangeable garbage. Shut the fuck up and never stop doing it until you got something useful to say. How's that for a request, Einstein? Hope it wasn't too challenging for you. Actually, let's put this on pause for a while. Sorry I'm being so mean to you, person I made up, but you're the reason I had to spend endless hours documenting this stupid shit only for some fucking YouTube muppet to start the process all over again, actively and intentionally causing the community to transform into a wild cacophony over meaningless shit. A vortex so aggravating that even the co-pilots leading it, as well as the passengers they're serving, are sick to death of the consequences created by their own chain reaction. And if you think I'm overreacting to this and should stop paying attention to it if it annoys me so much, then how the fuck am I supposed to do that? The civil is fucking everywhere, and its influence is even more everywhere than that. Avoiding the civil is like avoiding taxes, it's simply infeasible. 6 months ago, the civil came out of fucking nowhere to completely disrupt everything in seconds, like someone swerving into busy traffic causing a particularly violent car crash, and nobody even cares. People just accept it like this is normal, like this exhausting extreme demon cycle isn't completely insane. Not one single person with a visible slice of notoriety ever thinks to suggest that constantly devolving a community of millions into uncontrollable, maddening chaos might just be a bad idea. Levels like these bring joy to no one and only exist to inflate the internet points of YouTube geese so fucking obsessed with numbers that they spend endless hours crafting dozens of thumbnails for one video, while actively encouraging emerging creators to boil down their content into a collection of indistinguishable mediocrity, by simultaneously bragging about their negative impacts with levels of ego so massive that C1997 would faint at the sight of their behavior. It's not just coincidence, it's business. These internet mutants will keep these things around just as long as it grants the attention that they're so desperate for. Constantly going around telling people that every single new level is the next big thing that everyone has to drop everything and pay attention to, as well as it being absolutely vital that they are the ones behind them. And at this point I don't really care about the views. If you want them you can have it. You're blowing up, that's good, fantastic. But your strategies are unsustainable and going to lead to disaster much sooner than you know. And before all that happens, they directly led to the creation of the civil, which to be perfectly honest is something that should never be replicated. Please! Even though the civil is undoubtedly far worse than Slaughterhouse, it doesn't even come close to getting me upset in that way, because I'm pretty sure that's exactly what they want us to think. These guys know exactly what they're doing. This video has been a review of my patience. I'm not gonna waste a 30-minute video unleashing my fury on the civil, because that's what Abyss of Darkness is for. I wrote the intro of this video in a movie theater waiting for Sonic 2 to start while loudly choking on a bag of Skittles, and I insist that you should all treat Sakupen circles with a similar level of respect. Let's all silently place the civil in the lowest tier available as we collectively erase it from our memories, just as it should have been.